Hello, great people. Thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am Victor Akunna.
If you're watching this, you might be on our YouTube channel, Foundation for Family Affairs. I would like to say thank you for joining us again. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe.
Go ahead.
And turn on the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content. At the Foundation for Family Affairs, our mission is to connect hearts and raise healthy families. And so we're so excited about what we'll be talking about today. Because, I like to say, what use is it that we are in a relationship and we're not happy? But what we'll be talking about is even goes beyond being happy in a relationship. It's that state of toxicity, okay? Yes, and before we go on, I won't forget to thank all our returning subscribers. Thank you so much for engaging with us again and again. All right, so today the topic we have for you is simple. Insecurity in relationship. Okay, insecurities in relationship. Now, we've seen this do a lot of harm to potential relationships. We've seen this do a lot of harm to a lot of marriages. When we talk about marriages going somewhere, there's nothing as painful as loving someone unconditionally, just pouring out yourself to that person, and it seems like it's never enough. Okay, when we say insecurity, the Oxford Dictionary will tell you it's just simply that point where there's a lack of confidence. Okay, and talking about it in a relationship, they'll tell you it's a feeling of being threatened, or just that feeling of inadequacy. All right, and it brings with it a lot of anxiety. You're just there. We'll be talking a bit about the signs. We'll be talking about the causes, and then what you can do about it. So you would want to watch to the end. I'll let you say something at this point.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that you might be wondering why are we discussing this topic. One key thing about discussing this topic is when people are insecure in a relationship, it can impact the quality of that relationship.
That's true.
So even though the people, they have everything going for them, they're a power couple, they look like they're going somewhere. People are talking about them, people see them holding hands, people see them, they have a lot of things going for them. But if one or two of the spouses are insecure, it can stifle the quality of that relationship. It can derail that relationship. A relationship that started so well, so promising, can become a shadow. Alright, because why do we say this? The quality of any relationship is based on the quality of the individuals in that relationship. If you have someone that is toxic, no matter what you do, your relationship will be impacted. Your positivity you may have to now, overcompensate for the person's negativity by pulling up your own positivity, but it might not be enough to kind of pull that relationship to a certain level. All right, so that's why, for some reason, if you put one bad apple in a bowl of good apples, it has a way of destroying the rest. All right, even though the number tilts in the positive side. All right, so what I'm trying to say is that if you notice that you feel chronically, every one of us will be insecure in different ways, at different degrees. Nobody will be 100% whole. Nobody will be 100% healthy. There are different aspects we are working on. Some people are maybe insecure with their looks. Some people may be insecure with their voice. Some people may be insecure with their career path, their choices. Some people may be insecure with different aspects of their life. So it's normal. But what we're talking about here is chronic insecurity, to the point where you constantly need reassurance.
Yes.
You are constantly asking your spouse, how well am I doing? You're constantly seeking for validation. You're constantly trying to, snoop out your spouse. There are many things that can lead to this, and we will be looking at this, and we'll be looking at the negative impact of this on any relationship. It doesn't matter whether it's good, it doesn't matter where it started from, it can negatively impact that relationship.
Yeah, brilliant point. And talking about the signs, because someone listening to us might be thinking, how do I know I am insecure? Or how do I know I'm in a relationship with someone who is insecure. I think you just given 3. I picked 3 as you were talking. Okay, constantly needing reassurance. Okay, you want this person. It doesn't matter how much the person tell you, I love you, you mean the world to me. You constantly want that person to reassure you again and again. Oh, but how about this? How about that? You start painting scenarios, you know, and you just need that. You want and it's draining for the other person, okay, because the other person feels like, oh, I've assured you. In saying that, yes, we encourage spouses to, you know, always, you know, reassure each other of their love, but in this case, it's just excessive, right? And then what other signs? Comparison. You're always comparing yourself to maybe somebody in the other person's, in your partner's life, okay? You're always feeling like, oh, his sisters are so tall, I'm not as tall, you know? And then you're discrediting yourself, okay? Then for you want to
I was going to say something to that. I was going to you noticed I was going to do that too. So I was going to say something to that. Sometimes what they're looking at the spouse's exes. You know, they're looking at them, checking them down. Oh, she's even more beautiful. Oh, are you still in touch with her? So why did you even break up? So what happened? You know, the questions might not be that you want to know. The question is to know if you deserve your spouse.
Exactly.
That's wrong. Alright, so if you want to know, just want to know the history so that you know how to do, that's different. But if you're knowing so that you compare to know that if you can keep this fine girl couldn't keep him, alright, so what chance do I stand? Yes. Alright, if this fine what do I call it now? Fine guy couldn't keep, you know, what do I stand? So basically like that. So those are insecure reasons for doing. It may seem harmless, but there is reasons.
Good. Okay. And then another one possible sign could be that you internalize negative thoughts, and of course you would act on them. Okay, because you're not talking about these things, you're thinking it. Okay, that's a sign. Okay, you're thinking this and you're calculating. Of course, it would come out because thoughts are that powerful. Okay, and then another sign could be that you have trust issues. Okay, this person is maybe going out and you're asking questions. Whereabouts are you going to? Who are you going with? And all that. You should ask if you're in a relationship. But in this case, like he said, it's your motive for asking.
Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you asking? So we're giving you some signs, putting out some signs there for you to look and check. Oh, am I insecure in this relationship?
Sometimes it's let me just give you this example. I probably may have given it before. There was a day I was in a ride with someone. You know, this was many years ago, almost 15 years ago. All right, and then we're just going, and then I attended the seminar, and then I got talking with this man, and then he said, "Oh, we're going the same way," and then he gave me a ride. And while he was giving me a ride, something happened. The wife called, his wife actually, not his fiancée or his girlfriend. His wife called, and then I said, "Oh, how are you? What was, you know?" While he was speaking the call, I was talking, and I just ran in of what I was saying. So the wife just said, "Who is that?" You know, and then the wife started asking, "Who is that?" Yeah. And then the man had to, it was one of the most awkward situations. What the wife was trying to find out was, who is that in the car with you? All right, that was before the days of social media. She would have probably told him to turn on the video right. To see. Right. So the man had to defend. Oh, I'm with somebody I picked up this. The man had to ask me to talk. I said, "Hey, hi, madam." It was most awkward. All right, now I don't know the history of that relationship. Maybe there have been a history of distrust. Maybe there have been a history of cheating, and then so the woman just get to that point where she doesn't trust anything. I don't know, but so let's assume that wasn't the case. That's one of the most excruciating situations to put your spouse into. It's not really a good feeling.
Even if that was the case, and he's worked himself out of it, and probably hoped that he carried her along through the process. It can be really painful to go through that.
Sometimes you need to give your spouse the benefit of the doubt.
You know, it's
and
funny.
Not to embarrass them before people.
Very good. Not to embarrass them before people. It's funny sometimes when we speak to singles and we say to them that it's who you are you bring into your marriage. Okay, if you are insecure as a single person, you're definitely going to walk into marriage that way.
Yes.
Okay, unless you work on this. So you stand even a better chance, okay, to review things, assess things, because someone would also not realize that. That's why you've been ruining a lot of relationships that would have gone somewhere, okay. But when some people who come into your life notice these things, they have to. Some can't take it. Some ask themselves, "How long do I have to put up with this?" Okay, not for life. Okay, so the example he's used will just tell you that even some married people go through this in their relationships. Yeah. Okay, so we've put out the signs. It would just be important that we also talk about the causes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
do you feel the way you do? One would be poor self-esteem. Okay, poor self-esteem. You probably don't think you're good enough. You probably you just look down on yourself. You don't think you count. Remember when I started, I said it's that feeling of inadequacy. Okay, so if you don't work on yourself, if you first do not know who you are, okay, because that's what we feed on. That's what your esteem feeds on. Okay, that you get to the point where you realize that I am worthy. Right, I am worthy. Okay, deposited in me are things that I need for life. Okay, I don't need to be looking for them in other people. I have them. All right, so you look inwards. Okay, I am lovable. God loves me, so I am lovable. All right, so when you come from that point, I mean, you have just a beautiful, healthy relationship. Okay, but when it's low, when it's poor, you're wanting the other to, tell you who you are, just make you feel better. You'll drown the other. I keep talking about draining. So I'm gonna, at this point, I ask our viewers to make sure you see our last video, signs that you are in a draining relationship. We shared points you would want to take note of. Okay, so
I was listening to
poor self-esteem.
So but one key thing about poor self-esteem is that no matter what your partner does for you, it will never be enough. Why? Because it is self-esteem. Self-esteem. It is not others' esteem. Alright, so you are the one who has the problem, because it's how you are assessing yourself. It's how you are esteeming yourself. Alright, so that's why we always recommend that don't go into any relationship for the purpose of getting someone to affirm you. Know that will not happen, but go into that relationship where if it doesn't happen, I will be fine. That's a more powerful way to get into a relationship. Get into a relationship with a sense of wholeness. Alright, you are coming from a sense of wholeness. You are healthy as a person, and then you are looking for someone's life to make better. You're not getting into a relationship with an expectation that I'm looking for someone to validate me. I'm looking for someone to. It might sound good when we go, oh, I like this guy, he just completes me, he just validates me. It sounds good, but that is not, that can easily tilt into a dysfunctional relationship where you are trying to drain, where you're trying to, where you're trying to more like, without knowing you are sucking the energy, the life energy out of that relationship, because constantly you're looking for affirmation, and it's very good when you come, even little children who come from that point of, if you don't play with me, I'm fine, I'm going to create my own fun. Those are more these are healthier children, children who are looking for affirmation. Oh, let him say this to me. Oh, mommy is not this. Oh, if you're not playing with me, I'm going to throw that. No, that's unhealthy. And sometimes we escape with this into adulthood because we grew up in an environment where significant figures in our lives did not really affirm us, and so you enter the world as an adult seeking for validation all over the place without you knowing. So it's very important for you to come to that point where you sit down with yourself and say, why do I feel this way? Find the root cause of it. Enjoy the love of God. Accept the love of God. Accept yourself for who you are. All right. From that place, this is easier said than done. It's a practice. Exactly. You have to keep doing that until one of the practices I tell the people we coach to do is look at yourself in the mirror and get some very positive, affirming words and say to yourself, I'm intelligent, I'm brilliant. Use words that you admire in people that are confident, and rope them into yourself and say that to yourself, such that I'm good if this doesn't happen. I'm going to find a way around it. I may not know what to do, but I'm going to figure it out. Say things that will boost yourself on a regular basis. You have to do that. If you don't do that, you're going to look for it, because this is something you need to survive. You're going to look for it in other people.
Brilliant. So another cause we would want to consider is past experience. Okay, it's possible that something happened in your past and it's made you just develop that anxiety, and you may not realize you're taking it into your relationship, okay, into your marriage. Okay, an example would be that probably someone you were in a relationship with cheated, okay, and then you see this wonderful human being God has brought into your life, and you're just so suspicious of this person. Every move, just because in the past that happened, okay, and if you don't catch yourself, you would ruin the relationship before you. So that's just an example. Past experience.
You're right. It's similar. The past experience, just like the example I gave earlier. Sometimes how we are growing up also impact on that. So if you don't get that kind of validation, it's possible that you begin to seek it out, endlessly. Yeah.
Okay. So another cause would be unaddressed trauma. This is a big one. Okay, because sometimes some people don't even realize that. Like we were saying in the course of the week, that emotional wounds are often hidden.
Yes.
Okay, they're not easy to spot.
Yes.
When you're hurt physically, you can see the bruise, you can see sometimes the mark on your skin. Okay, but with emotional wounds, they're just there. So the same would apply to trauma. It's emotional. Okay, now an example may be something that happened to a child in the past. Probably that child was abandoned by his parents. Okay, so unconsciously, you won't realize that you've taken that into adulthood because it's not being addressed. Okay, and then you go into a relationship. There's that anxiety of being abandoned. You're always thinking, "Oh, could this person abandon me?" Like my parents did. And that's why we say you must address trauma. They must be addressed. So if there's a traumatic experience you had and it's still affecting you, we would ask that you seek help urgently. Yes.
And in that post that you were referring to, something that we said was that the general belief is that time heals wounds.
Yes.
Time heals everything. No, time doesn't heal everything. It is what you do with the time that heals the wound.
True.
Alright, if you leave the emotional wound unaddressed, it is going to keep resurfacing. That's why you see some people, you need to have multiple personality. Alright, they behave in a certain way in a situation, different, because they're trying to bury that wound, mask it, wear all kind of layers of mask just to cover it. No, it can't be covered. You need to fix it. Alright, you need to address it. So, like you said, if your parents abandoned you, or you had a parent that you really had come to bond with, but they were never around, or you have a parent that no matter what you did, they were never satisfied. They always poked one error there. They always found something to criticize. Without knowing, you may get to that point where you're feeling, you get into a relationship, you're feeling someone is going to repeat the same thing to you, because that experience as a child has made an indelible mark on your consciousness. And so you enter the world with that expectation. That's the face through which you see the world. That's the paradigm through which you interpret relationship. So if that's the paradigm through which you interpret relationship, you will be concerned about going through the same experience again. So without knowing, you might be projecting that experience on every other relationship.
That's true.
That's why sometimes you see some people, they keep having the same repeated experiences over and over again. Sometimes with different people that don't even know each other. So if it's happened with one person, happened with another person, happened with a third person that don't even know each other, you are the common denominator. You might be the one projecting. You might be the problem here. Alright, so you have to be able to check that. Unaddressed trauma can be very traumatic, can go unnoticed, but yet keep repeating, keep showing up like a ghost that refuses to die.
That's true. That's true. Good point. Okay, so another cause would be could be your ego. Could be ego. Okay, for either party, right? And an example would be, you see this sometimes in even in marriage, where one person earns more than the other. Let me use the example. The lady, the woman in the marriage earns more than the man does. Okay, and then the man just starts feeling like, oh, why would she be earning more? Or you have to stop working full time. You have to do this and words like that. Stuff like and sometimes people just forget that we are a team. Okay, we are pooling resources, right, for the good of our family. It's no more just feeding off one person. It's like whatever comes in is for our nourishment, is for our enrichment, right? So ego is one of those big things that just stare people in the face and messes up things in the relationship.
One thing I like to say to this is, it doesn't matter what comes to your relationship, it's the meaning and interpretation you give to it that matters. So if your wife, your partner is earning more than you, if you interpret it to be like your position is being diminished, you're going to see that positive thing in a negative way. If you see it as, our family economy is getting better, you're going to see it in a positive way, and you're going to find a way to support her or him. Alright, so basically what happens is not the issue, it's your meaning and your interpretation of what happens. So, and your meaning and interpretation is a function of your experiences and your past, your belief system. Alright, so if you grew up hearing stories, watching movies that created that impression without knowing that these things have been deposited in your spirit. So as you are seeing a semblance of that image that you hold, you are likely to react like, oh, this is what happened in that movie. We may not even know that it's that movie that programmed it. Because movies, human beings, as people, we are programmed by what we hear and what we see. These are the gates into our hearts. And whatever gets into your heart, it gets what you manifest. Alright, so that's why it's very important you guard who you listen to, you guard who you allow to influence you. Some people write scripts, they sit somewhere in one corner of the world, write script, get people to produce it, get people to sponsor it. They have their own agenda. You have to have your own agenda at your own family to say, these are the ideals you are going to stay with, and these are the things we are going to be following. So anything that doesn't align with your agenda, you need to stop it in its tracks. Otherwise, you're going to overrun your own family agenda. Quickly.
Chop it quickly. Okay, so another cause is bad behavior. Okay, and an example here, it might just be that you have good reasons, right? In the sense that it might just be that your spouse keeps late nights. That's something that can actually make you worry, make you wonder what's the problem. Okay, keep you, and then or that your spouse is very secretive. We don't advise people to just go prying on your spouse's phones and all that. In fact, we just advise that we consider transparency value, and that's a value every relationship should have. If you are in a relationship, we should be transparent about what we do. Okay, there should be no need to be hiding things, stashing things away. Okay, so if you're in a relationship where there's a lot of secretive activities, things you don't understand, it could feel insecurity.
Why that will feel anybody is insecurity is when someone is hiding something, and you don't know. For example, if you find yourself in a situation where somebody outside knows more about something more than your spouse, and your spouse gets to find out, they may get scared. They may be wondering in their head, what else is there that I'm not aware of? So, for example, someone just comes to you and say, do you know this? Oh, didn't he tell you? Oh, I was going to tell you. And then that's your spouse response. Another very important decision. Oh, didn't you say? Oh, I'm sorry for letting the cat out of the bag. I was going to say. After a period of time, your spouse might become insecure, might become unsure. And when people become unsure about the relationship, where they are with you in a relationship, they become guarded. It's natural, it's a default human tendency to self-preserve. So they want to preserve themselves, they want to now watch, because see, one thing about human nature is that no matter how expert you are in terms of concealing things, your spouse will know. They may not be able to put a hand to it. They are just sensing that something is not quite right. But they are just waiting not to, they're waiting to gather their evidence. So that's one key thing about. So if you if they begin to sense one or two that, oh, this person is not sharing things with me, this person, automatically that will begin to impact on intimacy, because intimacy is about vulnerability. Intimacy is about being open. All right, if your spouse, you notice your spouse is beginning to keep, not that that's their intention, but something that significantly you will have discussed in the past, somebody else is sharing that with you, it's natural for the person to feel insecure.
Okay, I'll share this because I have permission to do that. I was speaking with this lady, and she said for her personally, as a single lady, one thing, she went into a covenant with God that she would not get it wrong in relationship. Okay, so you see, some people have these covenants, and then she was in this relationship with someone, and for some reason she said there was no sign, nothing, but she just had this. She was just uncomfortable. I'm reacting to what you said when you talked about you would just know, okay? And she was like, she just had that intuition that she was thinking it was something peculiar to women. Yes, they'll tell you the women are naturally intuitive, okay? But she just had that feeling that there's something off about this relationship, but she couldn't put her hand to what it is. She couldn't point to what it was. And then, but she told herself, one thing she wouldn't do is to go prying on his phone for any reason. You know, sometimes people do that. You go out to eat and then the person drops his phone to go do something, and you quickly pick it up to check, oh, who is he been talking to, you know? And she said just gradually like that, one day, another lady who did that called her number and was like, who are you? Why are you with my man? You see? And for her, that just came out. So she believed that was God getting her out of that relationship.
Wow.
Okay? But I'm trying to emphasize the point you said about, you know, you would just know. Sometimes it's people in a marriage. When you've been married to someone that long, you're able to feel things. You know when something is off. Okay, especially when you're in tune. And when I say when you're in tune, you have your connection with God. God speaks to you. And He should be able to reveal some of these things, because when you pick these signals early, if it's a case of maybe your spouse is getting distracted, you would be able to tackle it. You can call his or her attention to it immediately, okay, to deal with it, because once it's talked about, it's in the open. You can also pray for your spouse, okay, in case probably his or her emotions are already wrapped around this distraction, okay, you can pray about it and it works. Okay. So at this point, these are some of the causes we've just put out there for you. As we talked about some of the solutions, but just to wrap it, okay, some of the things you can do. One point we have for you today is you need to accept yourself. Yes, you need to accept yourself. And you can't accept yourself until you discover your uniqueness. Okay, that thing, there's something God has put in you. Okay, and I like to always say that deposited in you is a solution your world needs. Right? If you don't discover it, you keep wanting to be another person, you keep wanting to fit, comparing yourself to other people. Accept yourself. Believe that you can be the best for this person in your life. Okay? And work at being the best for this person, and you will have a swell ride. So that's one of them. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah, accepting yourself is so important, right? Because the world will relate with you through your own lenses. Yeah, I found that that's true. The world will relate with you, will treat you the way you treat yourself. All right? If you are, there are some people in your life that, you know, that you as you are, you can't, even though you're a person of integrity, there are some people you can't have some conversations with. Because of how they have arranged themselves, how they carry themselves. You can't have some kind of conversations around them. You can't feel comfortable to do something. There are some homes you walk into, you remove your shoe at the entrance because of the way the house is arranged. Even if you are the type that say, oh, sorry, I don't remove my shoe, you will take off your shoes. All right. If you don't, they will tell you to take off your shoes. So there are ways you would carry yourself as a human being that people will unconsciously compel themselves to relate with you in a certain way. So accept yourself.
That's right.
All right, let that value come across, you know, ooze out as an oral, not as an oral of look at me, I'm a victim, I'm looking for affirmation. No, don't project that kind of energy into the world. Project the energy of I am good, I may not be perfect, but what I have is good enough. That consciousness is very important for you to be treated healthy in the work environment, not just in marriage, in any environment. All right, come up as your whole person, as a whole person. Very good. Very good.
Okay. So another point is you need to work on your self-esteem. Okay, if it's poor, you need to work on your self-esteem. You know, like the point you said, you were talking, you said it's self. Okay, so you don't rely on your partner, your spouse to do it for you. You work on that self-esteem. Why has your esteem been impacted regarding this? Okay, for some people it could be body image. Okay, if that's the case, hey, you can start. It's never too late to start. Okay, never too early either. So you just start. They would say, okay, for men sometimes it's about their job. Okay, so what we're trying to say is, like we always emphasize, you need to think solution. Okay, if this is something that's haunting you, it's disturbing you, you can find the solution out there.
Fix it.
Yeah, fix it. You want to react to that?
Yeah, it's very important for you to fix it. Don't leave it in the hands of anybody. Yeah, address it. All right. If it's something that it's important to you, don't live in self-denial to say, oh no, I like my size the way I am. If you don't like it, fix it.
Yes.
If you cannot fix it, fix your attitude about it. Change your attitude. All right. So, well, I've seen people that are plus size, and they self-esteem they will exhume. You won't even think about their size.
Yes.
I've seen people that are thin. Self-esteem, you won't even think about their size. So it has nothing to do with size or no size. I know there are narratives out there that say women should look in a certain way, men should look in a certain way. Hey, I've seen people that ooze out a lot of self-confidence that when you see them, you don't even think about how they're looking.
Sure.
It's the individual,
Yes.
the energy, the force field of that person, the healthiness that comes across that everybody wants to have a bite from. And that's so important. Yeah.
Super. Okay, so and then the other point would be you need to identify your insecurity. Okay, when we started, we gave some signs because sometimes you could be there and not even realize that you're insecure and you're wondering why is your significant other reacting like this? Why is your husband or wife reacting like this? Okay, it's just because you're insecure. Okay, and then you need to also discover the root cause of it, identify. Try to search, what could it be? Could it be an experience in the past? Okay, could it be just try to find out what it is, query that. Okay, and then another thing you need to do is you need to have that uncomfortable conversation. Okay, this is where a lot of us talk. Okay, we talked about internalizing the negative thoughts. Okay, you just don't want to, and sometimes it's with good intentions because people are trying to say, oh, I want peace to reign. I don't want to be perceived like this. Okay, but those conversations that keep you uncomfortable, it might just be that, the way I see you look at the opposite sex when we are out makes me feel uncomfortable. You see, you're expressing how you feel about it. You might just bring something to his attention. I'm talking from the perspective of a woman. He doesn't stare. Okay, but you might just bring something to his attention to make him understand that, she's noticed. That's the first thing. And then in case you don't know, people can see it, and then you need to work on it. Okay, and then you can talk about how it makes you feel, and that way you don't have to feel insignificant in the relationship or feel small.
It's different if you are looking at someone else to admire, in the sense that you say, oh, I like how she combined the color. Oh, I like how, But generally speaking, staring at somebody else while your significant other is there, I think it's sheer rude. It can be demeaning. All right, so you are somewhere, you guys are dining, and then the person you are with is looking at somebody else and like, wow. It's an unconscious way of comparing. It's degrading, not just for you doing it, for the person you are with. All right, so it's one of the most antisocial and demeaning thing you can do to someone to make them feel like they are not enough. I mean, you don't hang out with someone if you don't think they are significant enough. Like, don't put them through that grueling experience. Personally, that's my stance on that. That's my stance on that. So very important for you to know, create that boundaries. All right. The other points in terms of uncomfortable conversation is to ask your spouse, do I come across needy? You know, and don't be defensive when they give you their honest opinion. All right, hear their honest opinion. You may not agree with it, but you are the one asking. You're giving them the permission. So don't ask and then try to bully them into the answer you want to hear.
Yes.
You say, what do you mean? This is it. No, that's not the way to go about it. Do I come across needy? Do I come across as desperate? Do I come across as intimidating? Do I come across as negative? You know, there are things that your spouse is telling you about that you know somewhere in your head that this is true, but you are hoping that they will, you know, for some reason they will create another narrative. Some of this stuff your parents were telling you before you even got married. Your siblings were telling you that you are too controlling, you are too condescending in your tone, you are too aggressive. All right, so the same things you're hearing from your spouse. So you should take them to heart and find a way to address these issues. Otherwise, they will never go away.
Yes. Okay. So I want to believe that after watching this, a lot of we'll be hearing from a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay. So feel free to contact us. Let's hear from you. How has this helped you? Okay. And then feel free to drop in the comment section any point you think we may have missed out on, something you think is really interesting. We want to hear it. Come on, let's do that. Okay. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content.
And if you have a topic you want us to address, or you want us to have a one-to-one coaching session with you, all right, because I mean some of what we talked about here, the application might be different for different relationships. So if you want to see us, just send us an email at info@foundationforfamilyaffairs.org.
Yes. Okay, so we'll meet you on the other side.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.